So Bryson DeChambeau has won his first US Open title and his first major, which could potentially be the first of many. But this guy is totally out of the ordinary. He has potentially changed the game for the long foreseeable future. But in which way, and which way is golf going to head? In this video I'm going to give my opinion on what I think the impact could potentially be on the world of golf going into the future for the next 10-15 years. So, you ready for this? This is Nick Does Golf. If you are new here, my goal is to help people improve their golf. So even if that means that it's just by 1%, or it means that you just take 1 point, yes, just 1 point from any of the videos that I do, that makes me feel great, and I'm sure it's going to make you feel great. But this video's topic is all about Bryson's big win at the US Open on the weekend just gone. If you're not familiar with Bryson DeChambeau, he is known as the scientist within golf. He is trying to revolutionise and integrate his own way of winning golf tournaments, basically. He doesn't do the normal things that the majority of golfers do. He doesn't have a normal swing. He also doesn't have normal clubs. His clubs are the same length, which no other golfer does. But with all the terrible things going on around the world, he felt like he needed to get an extra edge on the people that he was playing against. And he did this by bulking up. This guy put 3 stone on, and I've done a video on this about his driving distances right in this corner here, if you can see the card, about how he has managed to do that and what difference it has. So go check that out. And with him having time to integrate that into tournament play, it has finally paid off. He has won 2 tournaments since lockdown, and that was the Rocket Mortgage, and now it is the US Open. This has had a detrimental effect on the whole of the golfing world. So the first topic is obviously going to be about his power game and what this means for the rest of the golfing world. So he averaged 325 yards round the US Open course, which is pretty far. For the club golfer, they can only dream of doing that. But I think this means that young aspiring kids coming up and going through the ranks are going to do just this. They're going to bulk up to the max, get themselves in the best shape that they can in order to hit that ball long. Not only young aspiring pros, but also the current tour pros. They're going to see the blueprint for what Bryson has done, and they're going to make sure that they crank it up in the gym and also take a look at what they are eating, because this ultimately has an effect on performance. Not to mention the fact that he goes all out on the shot. So not only does he whip it back on the backswing as fast as he can, but he also does that on the way through. He does not follow the original playbook of taking it back with nice rhythm and hitting it on the way through, hitting it about 80-90% of what you're capable of. He has certainly tore this apart and thought, no, I am not doing that. I need to hit this ball as far as I can, because if I want to win golf tournaments, this is exactly what I'm going to have to do. You only have to look at some of the responses of the fellow tour players that he was playing against that week, and they were astonished about how many fairways he actually hit, but because of the distance that he had into the greens, it didn't really make a difference. So I believe that the tour players are going to follow suit, and they're going to crank it up a bit and try and get that little bit extra yardage out of their shots. There have been a number of tour players in the past, before Bryson even came along, that have tried bulking up and it hasn't paid off. The one that springs to mind the most is Luke Donald. When he was world number 1, he felt that he needed to get an extra edge, and the way forwards was for him to bulk up and hit it a little bit further. And what has happened? He's pretty much fell off the radar completely. He's still playing on the tour, but he hasn't won for a hell of a long time, and it sort of hindered him in the long run. It's the same as Martin Kaymer. He did a similar thing. He also changed his shot shape. It didn't benefit him at all, and now he's just starting to get back to form. For a club golfer, I think that this potentially could have a negative effect on scoring, the actual swing itself. Bryson has pretty much worked out how his swing is going to be most efficient, and as you can see from his performance at the US Open, his ball striking was immense as well. He has worked out with his swing and his coach which is the most efficient, effective way of him presenting the club to the ball at impact. Now in my opinion, if a club golfer who hasn't got a particularly great technique tries to go all out at a golf ball like Bryson does, one, potentially there's going to be some sort of injury involved, and two, I don't believe that you're going to get as good a strike on the ball if you're going hell for leather, because your swing is just not efficient enough to cope with the levels of energy that you are producing to hit the ball. But I think for the majority of club golfers, they are not going to be too worried about hitting the ball further. They are just going to rely on the technology that is provided with the equipment that is being used in the modern day. I think one of the biggest things that could potentially change is the equipment and how it's going to be made, especially the balls. They're already talking about it. As we all know, technology in the golfing world is getting better and better pretty much daily now. Gone are the days of the hickory shafts, persimmon woods. They are non-existent pretty much. They are just for pretty much hanging up on a wall in the clubhouse. But now we're talking big bucks, big-headed drivers. The irons look pristine. They are also durable and they can help you out with shots. This was never ever in the pipeline back in those days. So in terms of clubs, I don't think much is going to change with that. I think it's more the ball that is going to be looked at in greater detail, and I think it's going to affect the tour pros a hell of a lot more than the club golfer. The third point, which I believe is incredibly relevant, and I touched on it earlier, is how is the game going to be taught from now on? Is the game still going to be taught like this? Right, nice and smooth rhythm, good tempo. Or in the future, is it going to be taught like this? Right, give this as much as you've got. Are club professionals going to go out there and tell people to hit the ball as hard as possible, to get as much distance out there as they can with their shots? Because, just going to play devil's advocate here, if you hit the ball a lot further, surely you're going to have a smaller distance in, and that's going to make the game easier, right? Or are they going to stick to telling people exactly what they know, having a nice rhythm, keeping their technique on point, and getting the best results that way? Drop a comment down below, let me know what you think. I'm just putting it out there for you, and I would love to know what you think on this topic. So they are just a few of the things that I think is going to happen to the game since Bryson has come on the scene and now he has won his first major. For the club golfer, I don't believe much is going to change. Maybe teaching styles are going to change a fraction, but I highly doubt it. For the tour player, however, I think things are going to change a hell of a lot. I think they are now going to try a little bit harder. They're going to be hitting the gym. They're going to be watching what they're eating. They're going to be trying their very, very best to compete with people like Bryson, Dustin Johnson. They are all hitting the ball further. But are the people that are in charge of golf going to rein this in and change some of the technology? Yes, I think they are. I think they're going to change the ball to make it a much, much stiffer competition, especially in places such as the US Open, because Bryson tore that thing apart. But do I think it's going to work for some of the tour players? Possibly, but I think a lot of them are going to struggle to get up to that standard that Bryson has done. He has set the bar so high. He is known for being the scientist and working his way around. He is always trying to get the edge over the people that he's playing against, and I think he'll be up there for the foreseeable future. Golfers, if you have liked that video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and hit the like button for me, ding, and leave a comment down below. It is a very interesting topic. It is pretty much trending right now, so I'd love to know what you think about all of this and what is going to happen with the game of golf. If you've liked that video and you want to see other videos such as tips, reviews, challenges, other things like that going on in the golfing world, make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. I want to support you with your golf game, and I would certainly appreciate you supporting me on my channel by hitting that subscribe button, so go do it! If you do that, also hit the bell for those notifications every time I upload a new video. You'll be the first one to see it. And if you have social media, follow me on @NickDoesGolf on Instagram, Twitter and TikTok to keep up to date with everything that I'm doing. Interact with me, message me, I'd love for you to get involved. I hope that has brought a valuable insight into what I think and for you to take forwards with you going with your golf game. It would be very interesting to see what happens. Thanks very much for watching, guys, and see you all very soon.